The moment wasn't dramatic. There was no breakdown, no crisis, no sudden collapse you could point to and say, "This is when it happened." Just a simple question. What do you want? And the terrifying realization that you didn't know. This is about that moment. And what it means when you have spent so long becoming what everyone needed, that you genuinely cannot remember who you were before that began. There is a particular kind of fear that has nothing to do with external danger. It is not the fear of loss, not the fear of rejection, not even the fear of being alone. It is the fear of looking inward, genuinely looking, and finding less there than you expected. Not nothing, never nothing, but something unclear, something that has been shaped so consistently by other people's needs, other people's expectations, other people's versions of who you should be, that the original shape has become difficult to locate. This is about that moment. When the question arrives, who am I underneath all of this? And the answer doesn't come easily. You did not wake up one day having lost yourself. It happened the way most significant losses happen. Slowly, through accumulation, through 1,000 small moments where you chose the version of yourself that fit the room over the version that was actually true. You adapted to one relationship, then another, then a family dynamic that required a certain role, then a friendship that needed you to be a certain kind of supportive, then a workplace that rewarded a certain kind of compliance. And each adaptation made sense in its moment. Each one was a reasonable response to the environment you were in. But adaptations accumulate, and a person who has adapted enough times in enough directions for long enough can eventually find themselves holding a collection of adjustments without a clear sense of what was underneath them to begin with. What do you want? It should be a simple question. But for someone who has spent years answering different questions, what do they need? What does this situation require? What would make this easier for everyone? The question of personal want can feel almost foreign, because wanting requires a kind of internal clarity that gets harder to access the longer you spend prioritizing everyone else's clarity instead. It requires you to know your own preferences well enough to identify them quickly, honestly, without consulting anyone else first. And if you have spent years checking in with everyone else's preferences before you ever checked in with your own, that muscle, the one responsible for knowing what you want, can become quite weak. Not gone, never gone, but quiet, underused, harder to hear over the much louder, much more practiced voice that knows exactly what everyone else wants instead. When the question arrives and the answer doesn't come, there is often a moment of genuine panic. Not just confusion, something closer to fear. Because the realization that you don't fully know yourself can feel like evidence of something being wrong with you. How can I not know what I want? How can I have lived this many years without a clear sense of who I am underneath all the roles? And that panic often leads to self-judgment, to the conclusion that you have failed yourself somehow, that you should have known better, that a more self-aware person would never have let this happen. But this is not evidence of failure. It is evidence of survival, of a person who learned very early that attending to other people was safer than attending to themselves, and who became extremely skilled at that survival strategy. So skilled that the original self got quieter and quieter, not because it was being punished, but because it was being protected. Here is something important to understand. The self you are looking for was never destroyed. It was not erased. It did not disappear in any permanent sense. It went quiet. It went underneath all the adaptations, all the roles, All the versions of you that learned to fit different rooms. And quiet is not the same as gone. You can still find traces of it in the things that catch you off guard. A piece of music that moves you for reasons you can't fully explain. In the moments of unexpected clarity, a sudden clear preference that arrives without you consulting anyone. In the flickers of recognition when something resonates so specifically that it feels like meeting an old friend. Those are not coincidences. Those are the original self, still present, still responsive, finding small openings in the careful structure you built around it. I am not going to offer you a list of steps. Finding your way back to yourself is not a checklist. But I want to offer you something simpler. The next time someone asks you what you want, even for something small, try pausing before you answer. Not to perform thoughtfulness, but to genuinely check. Not what would be easiest, not what would please them most, just what do you actually want? And if the answer doesn't come quickly, that's okay. That's not failure. That's just a muscle that hasn't been used in a long time. It gets stronger with practice. If you have stood in that moment, the one where someone asks what you want and you genuinely don't know, I want you to hear this. Not knowing is not the same as not existing. You are still there, underneath everything you became to survive the rooms you were in. The self you are looking for is not somewhere far away. It is right here, quiet, and again, until the answer starts to come a little easier. Until, well, what do you want? Stops feeling like a question about a stranger and starts feeling like a question about someone you are finally getting to know.